Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Super happy to be here. Join this SVG Europe event, be with our friends at Appear, and of course, being in the home of ski. That's a great position to be in. Okay, hold on. Technology. Right. So I'm going to talk about one of the events that we worked on with one of our customers and the Ski Mountaineering Federation. But being in the home of ski, if you allow me, I'll first start with a provocative question and ask if anyone has ever been bored watching a ski competition. No, don't raise your hand. We don't want to know. So if you've ever been bored, check out this one. Ski mountaineering. Has anyone heard about ski mountaineering at all? Yeah, okay, good. So you may know it's a new sport which has been qualified to join the Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. It's basically cross-country skiing. It used to be done in the wild, and the format has evolved so that it fits television event. And they've got team and individual races. They've got relay and sprint and vertical. And I'm going to show you examples of what the sprint and the vertical is. The vertical, by the way, is pretty scary. It's an uphill cross-country race up to 1,000 meters of altitude gain. So whoever has tried that will appreciate how strong these athletes are. And the sprint, which I will present, is a very, very interesting short format. I'll get a video on that in a minute. Our customers is Obsess Media. They're based in La Plagne, French Alps. And they focus entirely on mountain sports production. So not just winter and summer, but that's what they do. And they cover a lot of sports where budget is limited. I was impressed by the first panel presentation of over 100 helicopter trip, hundreds of fiber connections, 60 kilometers of cables. That's one end of the spectrum. And there are a lot of sports where you also need to be cost conscious, yet because of the nature of the sports, you need to provide close to the athlete's camera viewpoint and bring some innovation in the content itself. So that's what these guys really focus on. So going back to the ski mountaineering, I'll just show you a short video so you appreciate what the sprint race is about. So starting line, they have heats of six athletes running, and usually they go with qualifier, round of 16, 8, semi-final, final. So the start looks like a pre-classic cross-country skiing. Then you get to the first obstacle section, where they go through that maze. It's called the diamonds, and they have to go through that as fast as possible, as you can see. You'll notice one of the camera over there. So still going uphill. And then you get to the second obstacle section, which is the staircase, going up the staircase with your ski. I found this one pretty amazing. Now, whoever has been to a ski resort and brought your kids to the ski lesson in the morning, okay, you know how painful that is, right? There you go. By the way, the best is yet to come. The last piece is going downhill. That's pretty classic. Of course, they've been going uphill before that, so they've got skins on their skis. Check that out. Removing the skins super fast and jumping right into the ski to then race downhill all the way to the finish line. And this is it. So that's what the sprint competition of the ski mountaineering is all about. Now, when you produce that sort of sports, as I was saying earlier on, you need to balance the economic efficiency. This is a 10-camera production. They had 2 smartphones, they had 4 PTZ camera, and they have 4 fixed cameras. They can't lay up hundreds of kilometers of cables, so they need to be efficient. And at the same time, as you can see, there is a lot to be seen all around the racetrack. So how do you combine technology to serve the audience with high-quality content is what we work on. So you look at the racetrack on the left-hand side. You've got the start line. They actually used our Mojo Pro application, which turns smartphone into professional camera. They had PTZ camera on the first 2 obstacles, the diamond and the stairs climbing. And then at the other side of the racetrack, They sometimes go with a camera if they can put fiber, or they go with a mobile phone if they can't lay fiber all the way to the other side of the track, assuming, of course, that you've got cellular connectivity. In the event in Courchevel, which was one of the Olympic qualifiers in December 2024, we actually used the public cellular network, but of course we could use a private 5G network. I'll show you some examples, by the way, of large-scale private 5G networks that we contributed to at the end of the presentation. So that's kind of the setup here. Looking at it into a bit more detail, this is the starting line shots that's taken from a drone. And pay attention to that guy over here, right on the starting line, and that camera over there, which is using the sort of technology that we provide. So these are the view from the PTZ camera, the two PTZ's camera that were next to the first two obstacles. And this is the view from the start line. So the beauty here of using the smartphone is you can get really close to the athletes. It's lightweight, it's low cost. You're not disturbing the action. And on that shot here, you can see the Mojo camera operator really next to the start line. So it's a great usage of the mobile phone as a camera. By the way, the latency as well is important. It's not that critical here, but we can go down with a cell phone in something like 800 millisecond latency, which is quite good, combining with the camera for that kind of shots. I'll show you another example of cell phone usage. On the right-hand side here, you can see the athletes going uphill, as seen on TV. And on the left-hand side, this is how that shot was generated on the back of that snow scooter here. It's hard to see, but there is a second guy sitting, looking backward, and he's holding a small setup where we've got the Mojo application running. In that case, it was actually a Samsung phone. So combining these different ways of doing it, cellular network, smartphone, PTZ camera, cellular connectivity, gets you around a panel of solutions to produce in a cost-effective way that kind of event. Now I'd like to expand briefly on private 5G. Here we use cellular connectivity from the public network. Sometimes we're using private 5G. To give you a feel for the latest in private 5G, it was used in the Beijing game, by the way, and before that in Tokyo. And in Paris, we actually got awarded by IBC for our contribution there with an IBC Innovation Award, which we're very happy about, together with the quite a few companies that worked on this showcase. Two things that were done there with private 5G. And I know it's not winter, but if you remember the opening ceremony, it was pouring rain like crazy. So it felt like winter. So I thought, okay, it qualifies to be discussed today. So the ceremony was held on the river. We had about 200 boats with the athletes, and the decision was made to have a camera on the boat, and that camera was going to be a cell phone. So we staged something like 220 phones on the boat. Orange set up a private 5G network. The phone were S24 provided by Samsung. Orange set up a private 5G network on 6 bridges along the Seine River. And the phone were actually on for about 3 hours. So the content that was produced was the full content for the phone, as well as clips for the international feeds. All these phones were connected to a receiver. It's called StreamHub in our case. So the 210 feeds came to StreamHub, and then the production crew could exploit that content. An interesting innovation, by the way, we had camera control on this phone. So from in that case, ScionView RCP, you could control the phone, the zoom, the white balance, and we were filming in a 10-bit HDR. So a pretty advanced production here. And then it went on for distribution. So you can see the phone here, the Mojo app, and on the bottom right corner here, the mobile control room. We needed a way to control 200 phones, so AMP, who was working on that, actually put together the mobile control room. So that was an interesting showcase of what you can do with private 5G. And by the way, something that could not be done otherwise, because you couldn't find 200 professional TV crews with all the equipment just to be on the boat for 3 hours. So the cell phone was the best solution for that. Another great example of that was the sailing competition in Marseille. I like this one because in this occurrence, of course, the boats are at sea. The production compound is in the marina. And again, the same Samsung phone have been used, positioned on the mast, on the boom of the boat, on the athletes, to create these shots. And we had to stage a 5G network. So what we did, we took the radio part of the 5G network and put it on 3 catamarans that were around the field of play, creating private 5G bubbles around the various boats. And then we had a point-to-point radio connection from the catamaran back to shore so that we could bring the video to the production crew. If you've seen the shots of the sailing in Marseille, it was really amazing. And actually, I enjoyed the comments in the first panel about the importance of sound and getting team sound in this production. In that case, you could hear the athletes when they were 2 on the boat talking to each other. So it gave some really interesting perspective on the event. So that's a good example of using private 5G. So as a conclusion, a couple of pictures here. So as a conclusion, if you've ever been bored watching a ski competition with Obsess Media, with ski mountaineering and the Haivision technology, you'll never be bored again. Thank you very much.